Hi. Okay, so this is going to be me rambling about Brexit. This is an introduction which you don't necessarily have to interpret. And essentially, it's what I might say if I were entirely French, part French, but if I were entirely French and a bit of a chauvinist. And it's going to be in this accent. And I'm going to feel free to say things that probably only a non-native speaker would say. Try. Okay. Alors now we start. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to talk to you about le Brexit and why it is an opportunity for France and as well the whole of continental Europe. Brexit is happening. You, the British, the masters of scheming, of negotiating, of haggling, have finally shot yourselves in the foot. I have to say that as an observer, I was not expecting it. I was never a fan of David Cameron. But when he called the referendum on Scottish independence, I thought, this schemer, he knows what he's doing. And in the end, it looks as though even he bought his own bluff. He was very close to losing. And he had to make some last-minute concession, but he got what he wanted in the end. And so, when he did this crazy, unthinkable move to threaten his own citizens and the whole union with this, when he did this proposal of a referendum for potentially leaving the EU, I thought, this schemer knows what he is doing. He will get what he wants from it, and no one will have the guts to call his bluff. Haha. And now, the UK is in a real double bind. Everyone knows that Brexit is a bad idea. Yes, it appeals to the great British ideal, Albion fighting its way through the high seas. But this is the 21st century, Voilà quoi. The days when just being industrialized and having gunpowder give you a huge advantage over other countries, it's over. So, in terms of trade power and diplomatic clout and wealth, really, Brexit will mean a downgrade for the UK. And everyone knows it, even the idealist. So, no one wants Brexit. So, it is clear. But at the same time, you cannot not have Brexit. Why not? Because democracy. If you go ahead and reverse Brexit, you are essentially saying, okay, the government knows better than the people, and we overrule the people. A bit 18th, maybe even before, 18th century style, or even before. And you try that and see how that goes. So now, the only course for Britain is over the cliff. We'll see how that goes. So, now, of course, I have to say, I feel sorry for my fellow European citizens across the channel. And I feel sorry for we continentals too, because we too will suffer from Brexit. But we will also benefit. And this is what I have come to tell you today. First, I want to talk about really the influence that France has always tried to have in the world, and why Brexit is good for that. I will give you maybe a very specific example, but more generally, in French schools, we were taught that the EU was the new way for France to project its power throughout the world. This is something that is in the textbook. I'm not making it up. And I think it's true. Now, for my example, the language. Sometimes I meet people who do not understand the French attitude towards the English language. They say the Swedes, they have no problem speaking English. The Italians, no problem speaking English when they can speak English. They use English words all the time, actually, the Italians. Computer, mouse, voucher, Jobs Act. The Estonians, the Hungarians, the Finns, the Slovenes, for them it's all fine. Even the Germans, if they really have to, they speak English, and it's not a big problem. Okay, but there's something you don't understand. We are different from the Germans, the Italians, the Slovene, the Finnish. Our language, French, is one of the great languages of this world history. For centuries, all diplomacy was conducted in French. C'était comme ça. And French had the same imperial ambitions as English. You remember Napoleon? So, for a long time, French was what English is today. And it is still trying to be that. So, when a German or an Italian speak English, they go, okay, I will not use my mother tongue because it is not a universal language, but look at how well I speak this other language, which is the lingua franca. Okay. But when a Frenchman or a Frenchwoman, they use English, by doing it, they are saying, okay, my language is a failure as a lingua franca. Let me recognize this failure by adopting the main competitor. So this is something that people still do not understand. This point about language is just an example of the type of struggle that in Europe, France is now closer to winning. So there are struggles in which France wants to push its own agenda, and with Brexit, with Britain rather, out of the picture, it will now be easier for France. France and Germany are often referred to as the driving forces of Europe, okay? And that's because they pull more or less in the same direction. But there is another force which pushes for a completely different model, and that is the UK. So, really, France and the UK are two fundamentally opposed philosophies. France is the country of idealism and perfectionism. You know, it's the birthplace of the revolution, human rights. The UK is the home of pragmatism, compromise, and self-interest. A nation of shopkeepers, as Napoleon said. So the UK relies on the fact that it will always be able to negotiate its way out of things, to make the most out of events, and to adapt as things go. And that's how it's always been now, since it was last invaded for the last time by the French. So now, finally, we will have the freedom to go for the true philosophies behind the European project, without Britain stopping us. Britain, which is fundamentally Eurosceptic. But it's not only that. Compared to France, Britain is fundamentally more economically liberal, and its political power is a bit more in the pocket of a big economic interest. It's more influenced by big companies. And you can say this is a form of corruption. Now, over the years, people have criticized a lot the EU. And one of the biggest criticisms has been the influence that lobbies have in Brussels. Now, without the UK, there will be big changes there. First, because they will be no longer the UK with this general attitude that they have vis-à-vis corporate interest. But there is also an indirect way, and that is because of the US. Because the UK was always the back door of the US into EU politics. Because, okay, the UK is always a defender of unbridled capitalism. But the USA is the embodiment of that capitalism itself. And via the special relationship, the USA has been able to push a little bit its agenda in Brussels as well. And this will be over. Now I want to talk about European integration. So, in more practical terms, what will Brexit mean for Europe? It means we will finally be able to go on with the European project, European integration. Now, do you remember Cameron? He wanted an opt-out from ever closer integration. Well, there you go. Now he has his opt-out. For years, everyone has done Brussels bashing. The national governments, they go to Brussels, they make a decision on something at the Council of the EU, and then when it comes back from Brussels to the country, they say, no, it's all Brussels' fault. But of course, they decided. So, it's because we keep using, or other people keep using Brussels as a scapegoat, that the EU is where it is today. The other factor which has led to this unfortunate situation is that we were never able to integrate enough to make things really sustainable. I'm just going to give you one example. For years now, experts have been saying that it is almost suicidal to have a currency union without a tax union. It's not sustainable. And then there are people who tell you that it's actually integration that is the reason for the failure. But of course not. Of course not. It's going halfway, which is very dangerous. So now, there will no longer be the British influence at the higher level of decision making. And we will be finally able to push for the integration that will make our continent united. A united continent instead of these isolated nations that were invented in the 19th century. Now I continue with solidarity. Because a closely linked idea to integration is solidarity. Now, why do we want integration? We want it because it makes us stronger. If we do it well, it can be a protection for our economies, or rather for our economy. And it is a clear way of creating, for example, strong European standards. For example, standards on how we manufacture goods. European standards are typically the most demanding, so the best. And because we are a market of 500 million people, very often the whole world adopts these standards. Or at least they use these standards for export to the EU. So, being more integrated, being more united, is something that gives us a stronger voice on the diplomatic level as well. And finally, it would make just integration is something that makes life so much easier for all the modern students, the workers, the pensioners who live in different EU member states. So integration is something that we want. But who are we willing to integrate with? Well, it is with the people with whom we feel solidarity. And this is something where the Continentals have always been prepared to go further than the British. Britain's attitude to life in the Union has always been to get the most out of it. The British rebate is the best example. I want my money, my D. But to go back to the philosophy I was talking about earlier, the point of the EU was not that. It was rather to say, look, we are all European. We all want peace and prosperity. We will all be more prosperous and more at peace if we leave no one behind. It doesn't matter if one or the other, they get more for a little while. The tables, things might change. And what's more important is that we give more to some because we care. And this is an approach that was stifled by mainstream British politics, and which meant that the European Union could never become fully fledged. But now, we will actually be able to get there. Ladies and gentlemen, I will make a very short conclusion. Brexit is very sad for the UK. Brexit is very sad for us. It will be detrimental for France over the short and the medium term. But ultimately, we, the continentals, and especially France, will benefit from it. Why? Because France's influence in the EU and therefore in the world will increase, and because it will allow for the true original idea of the EU to prevail. A vision which is, I think, essentially French, of liberté, égalité, fraternité. Thank you.